Okay, this is me recording just as I got home and I am still very shaken. I just very quickly want to show you how I went home. This is how the dress looks like. Really ripped. Can you imagine how much skin I was showing? And this really kind lady just tied this for me. Let's take a look at how it really looks like without a knot. Am I ready for this? Guys, this was my state earlier. Oh my god, I survived that. Holy shit. Alright, now that I'm a little bit calmer and more settled down, let me tell you exactly just what happened. I was on my way to film a totally different video. I was riding my bike and wearing this beautiful blue dress that was one of my favorites. Thing is, I've always been riding my bike wearing a dress. Like, I've had that bike since 2020, so it's been 2 years now, and most of the time I'm wearing long skirts or flowy one-piece dresses, and nothing has ever happened. So it takes around 6 minutes from my house to the home station by bike, and I was already kind of like 3/4 on the way when suddenly my dress got caught in the gears of my bicycle and it ripped. And it happened in front of a residential house where the door had some glass on it, which I could kind of see my reflection, and immediately I saw how horrible it was because it was really ripped right here. The seam of the dress was just under the bust and a lot of my skin was showing. I wasn't really wearing any innerwear inside. Like, I just got rid of all that innerwear after winter. Basically, it was just my skin and my underwear already showing. And at that moment, I was just like, hey, really, this is happening right now. I don't know what to do, because what do you do at that moment? Nobody ever really prepares you for that. I had no other clothes in my very small backpack. I just had my camera gear and everything else, but not extra clothing. And I was kind of hoping that people inside the house would notice somewhat and come out to help me, but it didn't seem like there were any people around. But luckily, as my head was all in knots and tangles, just like my dress, this gentleman stopped. And he was actually riding the opposite direction, and he noticed that I was in distress with a really ripped dress. And the first thing that he told me was, "Kaikai ta houga ii desu ka ne?" And like in my head, like, of course I want to buy a new dress right now to cover myself up, but it was just that I couldn't move because I was stuck. If I moved forward, the dress would rip further, and it's not like I could rip it off because then I would be exposing my lower half. And right at that moment, I didn't really even know how to communicate the situation I was in, so somehow I managed to tell him, "Ugoke nai desu." This guy, really, bless his heart, he got off his bike and then he said, "Amari binai yo ni shimasu." Really gentlemanly. And then he proceeded to look at the gears of my bicycle and just saw that my dress was really wrapped around the coils. And at this moment, another person stopped by, and it was a lady, and she was so kind. She took off her own windbreaker to cover me up. And while they were checking the gears, she said that maybe it would be better if you just cut the dress off. So she went off and tried to borrow scissors from somewhere. And while the lady was off trying to find scissors, the guy was telling me to keep moving backward so that the wheels would turn and he could try and take the dress off. And by the time the lady came back with the scissors, we managed to successfully disentangle my dress. So thank God I could finally move. That's one problem off the list, but there's still one very big problem. I was still very much exposed, and these people, really, bless their hearts, I could not have met kinder strangers on the street. They both took off their windbreakers and just thought of offering this to me to cover my exposed body. But thankfully, the lady came up with the idea of just tying my dress, which she did so beautifully. It actually looked kind of fashionable. So I just told them that my house was close by, and this ended with me thanking them profusely for what they have done, and we all went our separate ways. And that's the story of how I was almost naked in public in Japan, something that I didn't think would ever happen, but it did. And I wanted to leave a record of that story. Well, yes, because it's an outrageous story and makes for good content, story time, whatever. But more than anything else, I wanted to leave a record of today as a testament to the goodness of people because I was saved by strangers today. And I know how sometimes we could easily believe humanity to be evil by nature or bad by nature, but today was a reminder of just how good people are. These strangers wouldn't get anything out of helping me. They were on their way to something else, but they stopped and helped. That is something very moving. I am close to tears now because I think that's something very special. Something really funny happened to me today, but also something very special. And for all the bad luck, the bad things that ever happened to me in childhood, I think nature has a way of kind of balancing that out. And 何よりもなんかすごい神様に守られてるって感じました。Is this a funny story or a teary story? And that's my life in Japan story today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you next time fully clothed. Bye.